Welcome to Sci-Fi Frontier. I'm Dominic, and I'm here with my co-host,
Wally.
and special guest co-host,
Marie.
And so this episode, we're going to be talking about Avengers Endgame. And so just so you know, there's going to be spoilers in this because we're going to be talking about all kinds of details in the movie. So if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame,
Turn it off now.
turn it off now because there's going to be spoils in this. So let's just first start off with everyone's kind of like general impression of the movie. So I'll start with you, Wally.
I was thoroughly entertained. It was not a movie that you want to take your eyes off of. You knew going in that it's a 3-hour movie, so you prepped yourself so that there's no getting up mid-movie scenes, run to the washroom, whatever. You had to see what was going on. So it was a very, very good movie. It was quite an ending. I was not unimpressed with it, but I don't know if I was hoping for just a little bit more out of it, but maybe action wise, but I mean overall fantastic movie. It was you got your bits of everything. You got your action in it, you got your comedy in it, you got your your tear-jerking moments. I'm not ashamed to say that I did kind of well up a little bit, but I didn't burst out in full-blown tears or anything. But there are some spots there that do definitely tug at the heartstrings there. So, but overall, I was very, very impressed with the movie.
Marie?
I absolutely loved it. Usually when we go to like really long movies, I thought there's always moments that drag, and then sometimes it feels like it's so much longer than it is. That 3 hours to me didn't feel like 3 hours.
No,
it flew by because there were, in my opinion, a couple of slower moments, but they didn't last long. They weren't long enough to kind of distract you from what you're watching. So for me, I loved every second of it.
Yeah, that's a very good point that you make out there. Like, for the length of the movie, it's not one of those ones. It's like Superman Batman was a 3-hour and 2-minute or 3-minute movie, and it just seemed to go on forever. And
Yeah,
it just didn't.
it was long.
I didn't see that one.
Well, you kind of did yourself a favor. 'Cause I expected more out of that movie, and I just didn't get it. I was really disappointed with it for what they delivered on that. But Endgame is far and above what that Superman v Batman was. No comparison.
Yeah. So my overall impression, same thing. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. Maybe like the odd nitpick here and there. But one thing about this movie that was different from all the other movies, I had fun watching it, but I kind of felt like some melancholy when I left the theater because now there were so many things that ended. It felt like a real ending. And where all the other ones really got me pumped for the next one because it's like building up to it. And then now this one is like the end of all that. So I kind of left like,
Yep.
I was like, oh, well, this character's done, this other character's done. So I felt kind of sad.
Yeah.
Kind of left me a bit sad when I left the theater.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I would say you're spot on with that too. But being seasoned comic readers as you and I are, that things can't stay the way that they are.
Yeah.
There's definitely things that are going to happen. There's just so many doors that are going to open up because of this movie. And yeah, even though some of them seem like they're closed right now, I can't see them staying closed forever.
No.
So.
No. So what was your favorite parts of this film? So I'll start with you, Wally.
Oh, there's so many good parts. I mean, if we're gonna start off right off the beginning, one of the funniest parts was seeing Thor after the fact. Like,
Yeah.
he is.
My favorite.
Yeah, he was so so down on himself. I mean, when they went to New Asgard, wherever that was, looked like some Norwegian
Village,
coastal village or something like that. But when they go in and see Thor in his home, and you got Korg and Meek there, I mean, fantastic touches.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody knew what happened to Korg and Meek. Well, now you know that they survived. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, okay, you wanted to be able to see things like that, right? So that was one of my favorite parts of that movie, right? Another thing was, after waiting for 10 years, I finally got Avengers Assemble out of Captain America.
Yeah.
As soon as that whole sequence was starting up, I was ready for it. Like, as soon as he started to prep and they panned up to his face there, I was mouthing the words Avengers Assemble with him. I was waiting for that. I wanted that, and I finally got it, and it was just an awe-inspiring battle to end all battles. Would I have liked to have seen more of that battle? Yeah, I probably would have, but I mean, obviously they're going to showcase on the primary characters there, right? And as well they should have. So
yeah,
the fact at the end that Steve Rogers, did get his happy life in the end was another favorite. I mean, yeah, okay. I'm a Captain America fan, so yeah, those pieces for me are very, they stand out for me.
yeah.
So, wielding Mjolnir, another fantastic nod. I have that issue where he wields Mjolnir. I'm glad Mjolnir's back in the mix. Like those are some of my favorite parts of it.
Yeah.
So,
And what about you, Marie?
I actually agree with a lot of your points. Thor, that just had me busting at my sides. I thought it was the best, and I hope they keep Fat Thor. Drunk Fat Thor. I know they won't.
I know they. Yeah.
I know they won't, but it's just funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yes, obviously I want regular Thor back too, but I also love fat drunk Thor.
Yes, I'll give you that one.
And then I also agree with like Steve Rogers getting that thing that he wanted the whole time. You always saw him kind of pining for what he didn't get in every movie. So that, like, for me, that was a really nice touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously when everybody returns, I love Groot. So I liked the part where Rocket was almost kind of protecting him, but you could tell it was kind of like a hug too. Like, hey, you're back. That for me, that kind of tugged at my heartstrings a little bit. I thought it was a nice little moment. Yeah, there's a lot of things that it's almost hard to think of all the things I liked. It'd be easier to think the things I didn't like. You know what I mean? Because there's just so many different parts. And I don't know the name of the hammer. What did you call it?
Mjolnir.
I loved when Captain America, like, he had it, and then the part where he and Thor each have the weapons, and Thor goes, here, you have the little one. Again, I was kind of busting out my sides. It was a cool moment, but the one thing the Avengers, they do really well is they throw some comedy in there.
Yep.
Yes, and it fits. Like,
it's not awkward, right? Like, there's not like it doesn't.
It never feels forced. Yeah, it never feels forced.
It's right at the right time.
Yeah, exactly.
Time, so.
But yeah, those were my favorites.
Yeah. So some of my favorite parts of, Captain America wielding Mjolnir. That's one of the things I said was going to come up ever since he nudged it in
Age of Ultron.
Because
I was with you.
I said that. I said, remember, that was one of my predictions. He was going to lift. He was going to lift it.
Yep.
I really like that part. Again, same thing. That was one of the funniest things in the movie was Fat Thor sitting on the couch drinking beer with the mech, the bug guy, and the Rock Man.
Meek and
I just cracked up laughing. It was just such a ridiculous looking
when he told
scene.
off the kid too on the video game.
Yeah, sitting there with the headsets on. And threatening the kid online. That was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I like the scenes with Thanos. He's my favorite Marvel villain. A great villain. Some other things that I liked. Now, I liked it when Thanos punched Captain Marvel pretty much right out of the movie. Didn't see her again till Iron Man's funeral. And the other thing I liked was...
You did see her. I mean, yes, it was...
And the other thing I really liked is, you know, the very last line out of Tony Stark there. I am
Iron Man.
Iron Man. He does the snap and...
Yeah.
I like that part. That was really cool when Thanos like, I am inevitable, and clicks and nothing happens.
Nothing happens, and he looks at his glove.
And
Yeah.
then
sees
Iron Man got it because he had because he made the glove with the nanites, right? That's why he was able to steal the gems off of him.
Yeah.
I really like that.
It was a very powerful scene. In a way.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
It was. I mean,
perfect. And it was a perfect, like, over the 10 years, perfect story arc for Iron Man to end that way. Like, that's how the MCU started, and that's how it ended.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought that was really good. Another thing I actually really liked is when the Scarlet Witch pounded on Thanos there for a bit, because she said, you know, you took everything away from me,
and he goes, I don't even know who you are.
and then
she
was,
said, you will.
That was
you
cool.
will. That was that was a cool moment. That one too. There's just like you said, so much. Another part I liked was, I don't know how. Well, I kind of liked it, but then I don't know how I feel about it. But is Black Widow biting the dust over Hawkeye?
Well.
I agree. I feel like it should have been the other way.
Yeah, I mean, I understand both of your grievances, I guess, with the way they portrayed things to be. Somebody had to.
Yeah, somebody had to bite it.
Somebody had to bite it for the Soul Stone. There was just no way around it. There's no cheating the Soul Stone. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't do it. Not even the Infinity Gauntlet can switch it back. Now, can she stay dead? I don't think so. I mean, there's.
Well, aren't they making a Black Widow movie?
Yes,
that was what really confused me when she died.
That's going to be a prequel.
I was like, wait, what?
I think we're back to the whole prequel thing. So
this is going to be a prequel.
So are we just going to find out who she was now that she's gone? But I mean, she's not. The Black Widow character in Marvel Comics is not that. Back in the day when the Infinity Gauntlets.
Yeah, she had a very minor role.
She wasn't even involved in the grand battle. She was just.
The character's a lot more popular now because of the MCU and Scarlett
Johansson.
Johansson.
Absolutely.
Than what it was and what she was in the comics.
Yeah, it's true in the end. I mean, okay. Black Widow sacrificed herself for Hawkeye's family. That's what tore him apart, was his family being turned to dust, and she has no family. The only thing she had was the Avengers. So for her to sacrifice herself for one of her quote-unquote family members was, I kind of figured it was going to be her, but I would have figured Hawkeye to do what he was going to do. You know, you're not doing this. I'm going to go and be with his mentality is, I'm going to go and be with my family, and you're going to live on, right? So
yeah.
So
and then let's segue into. We'll start with you again, Wally. What didn't you like about this movie? Anything that you didn't like?
That I didn't like? I guess the only thing I could really say that I didn't like is that there's unanswered questions with time travel. So, okay, Marvel has done phenomenal over 10 years with answering questions that something happens in one movie and it will get answered in a later movie. And yes, this will probably happen over the course of the next 10 years with the continuation of these Marvel movies. I cannot see them just cutting this off and just leaving it go. That would be foolhardy on the part of Marvel Studios. They have so much source material and story arcs to go through and characters to introduce. The whole Loki thing. I had one of my clientels, I guess from work, was asking me about why some characters were not brought back. Like the Vision was not brought back.
Yeah.
Well, I had to explain to him that yes,
They can only-
Vision, they only brought back those that were snapped away, and Vision was not snapped away.
No, he was outright killed.
He was killed before
Snap.
the snap. The gauntlet had not even been built yet, so he was the last part of the gauntlet. So that was the only way for that to happen. So yes, that's a reason why he's not in there. But was there any explanation like for Korg and Meek, other than the fact they were just sitting in New Asgard?
Yeah.
I mean, I would have liked to have seen some kind of a cameo or something with the two of them on the Asgardian ship in Infinity War to at least acknowledge that they were
Yeah.
With
they were
the-
there,
the time,
or they had survived somehow, or they got off the ship, and like, how did they just end up on Earth?
Yeah, they didn't kind of fudge that.
Yeah, that one
Yeah.
they kind of fudged. That's, again, we're gonna be really nitpicky about that kind of thing. Korg and Meek are not
Yeah.
anything to really worry about. They're part of the Planet Hulk story arc in comics, and yeah, they were a big deal in there, but they really don't play a factor in any of this
Yeah.
stuff. So yeah, little things like that would be the things that I don't like, those little unanswered things like that.
Okay, what about you, Marie?
I didn't like Thor making, I don't know her name.
Valkyrie?
Yeah. Her, like, the queen. I just kind of, I don't know. For me, it was just kind of like,
Well,
I mean, I get it to a degree,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I didn't like it. I kind of thought, like, okay, like, I get it. She's been already doing everything. He's off gonna do some kind of soul searchy whatnot.
essentially, yeah.
I don't know. That kind of irritated me a little bit for some reason. And we already touched on the fact that I didn't like that Black Widow died, because I thought it should have been Hawkeye.
I think we're all in agreement with that. I think Hawkeye was too obvious of a character to see go. So that
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess for me, like, the way I looked at it too is he's hardly been around. Not really. Like, he's been there, but just not.
Yeah,
He's more background, right? So it was kind of like, why not kill off the background guy?
Well, that was the other side.
But I
of
guess
it.
that's
mean,
shock value. That's
Yeah, it's
you know.
characters die, and this is not just, even though they win in the end, they don't really win. You know what I mean? Like, there's sacrifices were made.
And then again, I understand the point of Gamora coming back in a way, but I just didn't like it. I don't know. It just kind of was like, because it's not even the same Gamora
No, it's
in
just
a way. So
another timeline.
it's just, I don't know. I just kind of thought it was stupid. Like, I was
Well,
like, okay,
yeah,
like,
I mean-
again, she served a good part of what she did. She helped them,
Yeah.
but and then her just kind of disappearing. Like, I was like,
Yeah, she did just disappear at the end. Like, you don't know what happened to
yeah,
her.
like, it just kind of bugged me.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing. Like, if you're gonna bring her back, why
Well-
she just disappear? And I get maybe she's just again
I don't
maybe
think
like a.
I don't remember her just disappearing.
Well, she
Well,
never.
in
We
the
don't
end,
know.
we don't know what happened.
We don't know what
because
happened
he's
to her in the
searching
end.
for her. Remember when they all get on the ship and
Quinn is
Yeah.
looking for her, and
and it keeps going like not found. So she kind of disappears.
yeah, so
Well,
you don't
it's
know.
it's one of those things that I'm pretty sure is going to get answered in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It's
Yeah.
gonna be like a search for Spock, but now we're going to be a search for Gamora.
Yeah, I think
so
she would
it's-
have.
Yeah, like it's just
I think she would have stayed at Nebula's side. It would
something
make more
like that.
sense.
Yeah, like it just
That
kind of
was her
bugged me.
sister.
Like, why bring her back and then she just disappears? Like, if you brought her back and then she like stayed with Nebula and like.
Well, I think
don't
they're
know.
trying to eliminate the whole Star-Lord Gamora romance.
Maybe.
Because
Maybe.
in the whole grand scheme of things, even in comics, they were never a couple. At least nothing that I've ever read ever showed them as a love interest between each other.
Yeah.
Gamora is one of the most deadly women in the universe, and
I liked that.
I would expect that this Gamora, now that she's been told that this was her life before she was killed, now she's going to take her life in another path. So maybe she's going to go and become more of that killer instinct, warrior-esque
Maybe.
woman.
I just kind of liked the interactions with them
Yeah.
all. You know what I mean? Like, So I mean, like, if they could have just left her be dead, like she died in the first one, because she technically died before the snap.
Yeah,
so she
died
wouldn't
before.
have come back if they didn't do the time jump.
No, she was
Yeah.
sacrificed for the soul
Exactly.
stone, so she was never going to come back. But she's taken from
Another time.
Yeah, I know.
from an earlier point in time. So
But I mean, it's just either leave her gone or don't make her disappear again, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just that part just it's nitpicky. It's not
it is
a major
but I mean,
thing, but
again,
I didn't like it.
This comes back to the thing that I said that these are things that are going to get addressed
Later on.
going
I
forward.
guess.
I think they're not going to leave a loose thread like that not tied up.
Oh yeah, I'm
somewhere,
sure
so I mean,
eventually. I'm just saying for this particular movie. And again, I'm someone that's never read the comics.
Yep.
So I'm looking at it as more of a casual viewer when I look at this stuff.
So now, was there anything else that you didn't like about the movie?
No, those were my big things. I wanted more Groot.
Yeah.
But that's just because I'm
Groot-
ridiculous.
well,
I love Groot.
Groot was one of the snappies, so
Yeah.
you had to wait until the end, although you
Yeah,
did
so
get a little bit. So.
That's just a silly thing, right? I've always liked Groot.
For me, stuff that I didn't like about... There's not too much about this movie. It's pretty solid. There's not too much I didn't like about this movie. Again, yeah, I would have preferred them kill off Hawkeye and kept Black Widow. Again. Because I think Black Widow's the more popular character. It's the character... I like Black Widow more than Hawkeye. Like, I was never really in the Hawkeye in the MCU.
No, I know, and I mean, I understand your reasoning.
But I guess it gives it more of a happy ending because he gets reunited with his family,
Yeah.
where Black Widow doesn't have a family.
Yeah, but I mean, he'll probably get written out. And will there really be much of a? Well, I guess he's going to get some kind of a series on Disney Plus
Disney
or
Plus,
whatever.
yeah.
So he will get a little thing with his family. So will he be still doing what he does? I mean, he's kind of an integral part of the West Coast Avengers in the comics. So we still have Hawkeye, War Machine. There is an Iron Man. There was an Iron Man involved in that. They could still introduce a She-Hulk, and I mean, they could be setting this up for Avengers West Coast. Who knows?
As for another thing that bugged me that I did not get is I was hoping to get it in this movie was I liked the fact that we had like Professor Hulk in this one, but then he didn't have a good fight scene.
Yeah, that's true.
That's right. I do remember people saying there was no real rematch between him and Thanos.
Yeah, that was something I wanted to
And
see.
he needed that, right? Because that's
Yeah.
why Hulk kind of broke a little bit in the Infinity War. 'Cause
Yeah,
it was-
and I kind of like he had this moment because he put the glove on and he brought everyone back with the snap. But at the same time, his arm was like screwed after that.
I know, and
But-
he still hasn't fully recovered from it, which I
Like
don't
technically,
understand.
if you
He
stay
should've-
true to the comics, he should have been healed like
Yeah.
within a few minutes after because he has a pretty powerful healing factor.
He does.
So he should have been ready to
maybe
go back
it's
out
just
at
due
it.
to the nature of what the injury
Maybe
is
because
from.
it was cosmically
Yeah.
inflicted or something, but
Yeah,
I've seen the Hulk endure way worse injuries than that in the
Oh, yeah.
comics and recuperate like within minutes.
Yep, for sure.
Like one example he had is basically he was eaten by giant cockroaches and he regenerated in
What?
15 minutes.
Yep. Yep.
And he was
Hulk
almost
the end.
completely
Yeah,
devoured.
Yeah, I know this. I know that.
So,
He
could recover from
fantastic.
it.
That's also a fantastic read if anybody wants to read
Yes,
that.
that's a good one.
Hulk the end.
The end, yeah,
Definitely worth reading.
so he was able to survive that kind of an attack, and 15 minutes he was back to normal
That's crazy. I didn't know.
after being completely scooped out by mutant cockroaches. But so yeah, I was hoping to see like another round between him and Thanos, because I really like that about Infinity War, that fight scene between the Hulk and Thanos, and that's something. And another thing and it's missing from so many movies, and I've got to talk about this, and we've only ever seen it in the first Avengers movie, but they always neglect a really good transformation sequence from Banner to the Hulk. They always neglect that. They always show it off screen,
it's not very
they
Bill
don't
Bixby-esque, is what you're looking for.
One thing I really enjoyed about the old Bill Bixby Hulk TV series was every time he turned into the Hulk, it was an event.
Yes.
And
the whole
totally
flash of the eyes,
Yeah.
open wide up.
And they never do that in the movies. Like,
Yeah, I know. You watched him transform in First Avengers when you.
yeah, but that's really
That's really the only time you really saw it. Right?
you saw it. Now, whenever they like in Thor Ragnarok, they always showed the transformation off screen. Same thing with Age of Ultron. You saw the transformation off screen. Same thing with Infinity War. You didn't see the transformation. And then same thing with Endgame. You didn't see the transformation. As for... I'm trying to think of anything else I didn't like about it. Pretty much it. I think they were pretty fair. Every character had like a moment. Like,
Yes.
there was
Yeah.
no one was neglected. Like,
Yeah, everybody had their...
moment. Like,
Yeah, you're
Hulk
right.
got to bring back the snap, bring everyone back. He had his moment. Captain America has, like, everyone has a moment. So,
Yeah.
you know, all the characters had their moment, which I thought was really well done. The only other thing was the little bit I thought was a little bit convoluted and confusing. Again, was the time travel part of the story.
Very much so.
Yeah, I mean...
So
As we were talking about just before we started recording, there's parts that they don't totally make sense.
yeah, they don't kind of fit. So I'd have to watch it again. Maybe it might after I think about it after a few more viewings.
Yeah, because the whole Loki thing, again, we talked about this before we started the recording. The Loki thing is... That's got me buffaloed.
Well,
I
from what
can't-
I'm understanding, is that every time they went back, they create a new timeline, so they can't alter their own future. So their own timelines always going to seem. But then at the end, they kind of violate that with Captain America showing up at the end on the bench and being old. Now, it's I guess it's a minor plot hole, and I guess they decided, well, we're going to do this just because they have that really good moment between him and the Falcon. So you have this really good emotional moment, and I think the scene is so good that you can kind of forgive that bit of a plot hole there, just so you can have that really nice scene. I thought, and another thing that they did a really good job of age makeup on him. The other thing is
just so I get this clear, that wasn't Chris Evans.
Who was it?
That was from what I understand, that's a different actor, and it was just a voiceover with Chris Evans' voice. That's my understanding.
I thought it was CGI'd.
Are you sure about that?
I'm pretty sure. I had to look at... I was reading something or looking at a video, and somebody said something to that event. I'm going to look it up right now while we're talking.
Because it looks like Chris Evans. Though.
It does. Like, he's very...
It looks like an old Chris Evans.
It's
yeah.
very, very close, but I'm quite certain it's a stand-in. It's not... I don't think that it was Chris Evans.
So, yeah. So look that up, and I'll keep talking. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. That was a good moment there, and just to have that emotional moment between him passing the shield to Falcon there, I think is worth. I can overlook that bit of a time travel plot hole. And the other thing, what happened to Mjolnir? Remember, he never came back with it.
Yes.
My theory is he returned it to Asgard.
That's what I think he did too.
Because remember, Thor took it from another timeline, so the Thor in that timeline won't have a hammer. So he probably brought the hammer back when he brought the Infinity Stone back to that point in time.
Yep.
That's what I think he did too. Because otherwise, in that timeline, Thor wouldn't have his hammer.
Yeah, Thor wouldn't have his hammer. So he doesn't come back with it. So I think that's when he went to return all the other stones. He brought back Thor's hammer back to the timeline it belonged to. So that part, yeah. As for any other thing I didn't like, that pretty much covers it. I think it was overall pretty solid movie.
Yep. Yeah,
I found an article. I'm just trying to see.
Yeah, I've got one too, and I don't know if it's the same one that I'm looking at or not, but now that we've got this really on the go.
What does it say?
Yes.
It is Chris Evans?
It says the answer is yes, mostly. As confirmed by the Avengers Endgame directors Joe and Anthony Russo. To EW, old Steve Rogers was all Evans, done with a mix of physical prosthetics on his face and digital alterations. They also used CG to polish the overall look, which can't be done by practical makeup alone, such as shrinking his neck and overall physique, so that he resembled that of an elderly man. There wasn't any modulation when it came to the character's voice. However, Evans made adjustments to his natural speaking tone to mimic an older manner of speaking.
So that was Chris Evans.
So then it was Chris Evans.
So that was really good. That was like one of the best.
That was incredible.
Aging makeups. And then I was going to comment on the voice too, because whenever they do the aging makeup, usually the actor doesn't alter their voice, so they sound
they
young.
still
But
sound
he
young,
sounded
yeah.
like he sounded old.
Yeah.
So that's impressive. That's like really good, impressive aging makeup.
Yeah.
That's
Oh yeah. for
Because
sure.
I wondered, like, I wasn't sure. Like, I was like, is this really good CGI or is this,
yeah. It
as
was
Wally said,
it looked
someone else?
pretty
Yeah.
seamless because if you look at when was it Age of Ultron where or Winter Soldier when he goes to see Peggy and she's old and she passes away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was you could tell it was CGI, like it looked a little bit off.
Yeah,
aging.
her
she-
face looked a little
It
odd.
really didn't look like Haley Atwell. to
Yeah,
me,
it looked
so it's-
kind of off, but this was seamless.
Like,
he
you
looked
would
like
thought that Chris Evans somehow
was
magically
aged.
a whole
Like
lot.
they did a good job on that.
Yeah.
Did a good job.
Yeah. Well, I guess obviously what I was looking at or reading about was just speculation then, because it was. It just didn't seem like him to me. I thought it was a different actor.
So now let's talk about where do you think they're going to go with the MCU after this? I'll start with you, Wally.
Well, what's next in the line? Spider-Man: Far From Home. Now, just the other day released trailer 2
Yep.
for Spider-Man:
Oh,
Far
there's
From
2
Home.
trailers?
There's now
Okay.
there's now a second full trailer out there, about 2.5-3 minutes long, and it's already opening doors. So if you haven't seen Endgame, see Endgame first before you watch the Spider-Man: Far
Yes.
From Home.
Yeah,
trailer
because it'll
2.
ruin it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when I watched it, there was a spoiler warning from Tom Holland that says,
Yes.
if you haven't seen Endgame, go and see that first before you watch this. So we're going to reiterate that at this point just to cover all of our bases. Now, again, that being said, spoiler warnings. They are opening up doors to a multiverse. Right in that trailer, Fury introduces Peter to Quentin Beck, aka Mysterio. Now everybody knows Mysterio is a classic Spider-Man villain,
Yeah.
but Fury introduces him as a hero not of our world. When the events of Thanos is ripping, snapping
Yeah.
with the Infinity Gauntlet has opened up tears in the multiverse, so he's come through from a different timeline or an alternate dimension
universe or
where
something, yeah.
Mysterio is a hero, not a villain. Now, does that mean that Mysterio stays a hero and stays in the MCU, or does he and Spider-Man have a thing and then he does become a villain
Yeah.
like he's supposed to? Like, nothing against Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm not really sold on him as a Quentin Beck yet, but the Mysterio costume, the fishbowl, everything is he looks really good.
Yeah, it does.
Now,
The costume looks good.
I don't know. I'm excited to see it, which is unusual. I enjoyed Spider-Man: Homecoming, but I think I'm more excited for this than I was Homecoming.
Yeah, I am too. I'm more excited for this than I was Homecoming. So Marie.
I don't really know where I think it'll go, to be honest. I mean, obviously, with the Spider-Man, you can kind of see some stuff that they're doing, but for me, again, not having the comic background,
Yep.
I'm not sure. I'm hoping they don't go too Captain Marvel-y. That's one thing I am hoping for, because I hate Captain Marvel. But I don't, you know what I mean? And I'm kind of wondering, like, Pepper, is that her name?
Pepper Potts.
Yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that she's not in there too much
No, she's
in
done.
the Iron Man
She's
suit.
done.
Because
No, she's.
to me that doesn't
I think
work.
she's not renewing her contract. I think she's finished.
No, she's stated to. I know this for a fact that she stated to interviewers that she'll make herself available for cameos, but she's
Yeah.
not actually
Okay.
going. She's
So
not
we're not
actually
gonna
going
have-
to.
okay.
she's
We're not going to
gonna
have
be
a Pepper Potts movie.
That's
movie,
what I was
yeah.
hoping. I was like, please,
that's-
let's not have this.
That's as much as you're going to see. So seeing her in the rescue armor is probably the extent of what you're going to see.
And I'm also, I'm curious where they're going to go with the whole Loki having the Tesseract again.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
again, because he just sort of disappears and nobody
Well,
they don't. There's nothing they can do at the time.
Well, that's what the Tesseract is. It's a space stone. He
Yeah.
can go anywhere
Yeah.
in space, and just as.
Yeah, no, it's just I'm curious to see where they're going to take that now.
Mm-hmm.
So there's more. It's not so much that I have any idea of where it might go. There's just things I'm curious to see how they're going to tie it all together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm really excited for the new Spider-Man movie. I liked the other one. It's
Mm-hmm.
just this one looks really cool.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's really very interesting.
As for me, where I think they're going to go, well, I was hoping they'd come out with X-Men, like they wouldn't waste no time, but I guess they've come out and said there's going to be no X-Men films for at least 5 more years
Oh, okay.
in the MCU. So they're going to wait 5 years, then introduce the X-Men, which I guess, if you think about it, is kind of wise because it gives them a bit of distance between...
Yeah.
The Avengers and the X-Men.
And while plus you still have 2 more X-Men movie-based movies coming out by Fox.
Yes.
You got Dark Phoenix coming out, so maybe it's just to give them a bit of distance between the Fox X-Men films.
They don't want to be associated.
Yeah, just put a bit of time between the two.
Yeah, that's fair.
And plus, they already have their roster of movies planned out, like a Shang-Chi movie and
Yeah, I heard about that
Guardian
one.
of the Galaxy 3 and another
Black Panther,
Black
another
Panther
Doctor
2,
Strange.
another Doctor Strange.
More
I'm
Captain
hoping-
Marvels.
Yeah, more another Captain Marvel. So
Anyway, just hang on.
I was just gonna say, all I'm hoping when you're talking about the Guardians of the Galaxy, I am hoping that Thor will be in those now that
Yeah.
he's kind of with them.
Well,
that would be cool. I want
That
to
would
see.
be. I think that'd be
I-
really entertaining. Like the whole no, I'm the boss. Yeah, you're the boss.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah, that's-
I'm in charge. Yes, of course.
yeah,
Like, you know,
that-
their
that's-
banter between them. Like I'm
that-
really
it's-
hoping that's gonna be in that movie.
It looks like
Sorry,
it's gonna
not
be
to
fun.
interrupt you. But
Yeah, no,
No, you're right, and they need a place filler because they have obviously with Gamora gone, there's one part of
One
the
left.
Guardians that
Yeah,
are gone.
one gone.
So seeing Thor step in there, and you know what, Stormbreaker is still there.
Mm-hmm.
Is there still a chance we could see a Beta Ray Bill?
Yeah, there's a. I was wondering that too, since we've got
Oh,
Stormbreaker. Is there a chance for Beta Ray Bill? Because remember, they had his face on the in
arena.
Thor Ragnarok on the
Yep.
arena.
Yeah.
Had Beta Ray Bill's face.
Beta Ray Bill is just to clarify for Marie here, Beta Ray Bill is an alien horse-esque kind of looking creature
okay.
who is also worthy to lift Mjolnir.
Oh.
Yeah, so
And
in
he
the-
gains the powers of Thor. Now, Odin was still, in the comics, Odin was still around, and he, in the end, creates Stormbreaker to give to Beta Ray Bill so that he
Okay.
can do his spacefaring side and give Thor back Mjolnir, and then
Okay.
there's kind of like two
Okay.
Thors
Yeah.
out there, but two
like
different...
he's basically an alien Thor.
Okay.
Yeah,
And you saw his face on Thor Ragnarok when it showed the 3 thing on coming up to the arena building.
Yeah.
You see Beta Ray Bill's face like in
Oh, okay.
silver or whatever, like next to the Hulk's.
Yeah,
when they showed
next we'll have to go back and get a picture so we can show you what he looks like. But
Yeah.
if you were a comic reader, you
Yeah.
would have recognized him. But you know, for myself and Dominic here, we know that image.
You
is,
know what you're
is
looking
that.
at, yeah.
And then Stormbreaker was his hammer.
Oh, okay.
And we're pretty sure we also saw Ares' face on the.
Yeah, I
pretty
think
sure
it
Ares
could've,
was
yeah.
on there, and we think the Silver Surfer. We think.
Yeah, maybe. And so another thing, direction I really hope we get, if they're not going to do X-Men for another 5 years, I really hope we get a good, proper Silver Surfer movie pretty soon, because that's one of my favorite Marvel characters, and
Well,
I've been waiting a long time for a really good Silver Surfer movie.
Well, that's the other side of this. They haven't really set up the next major villain.
No, not yet, but the most logical place to go, I think, in the build up to now that they did the Infinity War, is the coming of Galactus.
Seems logical to me too. Just because of the so many failed attempts at Fantastic Four movies from early 2000s on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Fantastic Four, The Rise of the Silver Surfer, and then that god-awful remake.
Roger Corman.
God, what was he thinking?
Yeah, Roger Corman.
Holy crap.
And then the
I can't-
Fantastic that came out, the latest one.
I didn't know the Fantastic Four was Marvel, so that means Chris Evans has played 2 Marvel characters?
Yes.
Yes.
Chris Evans has played 2 Marvel characters.
Yes. He actually played also in The Losers, which is another DC-esque hero, but it was covert ops kind of thing. But
okay.
That was a good movie too, The Losers. If anybody hasn't seen that, that's worth having a look at.
But yeah, that's well, I think that's the next direction I think they should go, because they already introduced all the space stuff, the cosmic stuff. So like, you could easily slide the Silver Surfer in there, and then you can lead up to the coming of Galactus.
Well, I mean, if you do go out and have a look at the what's on slate for coming out, you're right. They're really pushing this cosmic side of things. Now, would Galactus make sense? Absolutely, because they're gonna rehash. We're gonna see Thanos again, and with story with an Eternals movie, which is kind of relevant to him. It'll kind of sit well. The one thing that really kind of irritated me is that in Doctor Strange, when Mordor had the staff of the Living Tribunal, everybody was speculating that Strange was going to be sitting there talking with the Living Tribunal in the movie.
Yeah, you didn't have any other cosmic beings.
You didn't see any other cosmic beings. Now, are we going to get this in the next phase?
Yeah, maybe.
I just thought of something completely unrelated to do with the Avengers, but not about what you guys are talking about.
Okay.
I'm confused about something.
Okay.
What?
You know how Doctor Strange kept telling him, like, telling Tony, if I tell you, it won't happen. But then he kind of does.
Kind of gives him,
he
just
you know
kind of
what I mean?
signaled, this is
gives
your
him
one
that-
chance.
This is the one
Yeah,
chance.
but I mean, but by doing that, he's breaking his own rule. Sorry, it was just as you said Doctor Strange that popped into my head that I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't tell him anything.
He didn't tell him anything. He just said, because he already knew there's
he-
one chance. He said that before he gave up the time stone. The last
Yeah,
movie.
I knew that part, but
We've
it was
got
just
one
by
chance.
when he looked at him and they kind of locked eyes and he did that like one.
Yeah.
He held up his hand like that was his way of. In
Telling
my
him.
way, he kind of told him.
Well, I told him, this is your one chance.
Yeah.
And this is our one chance, and then... So it kind of makes sense, because then that's why he gave up the time stone, because Thanos was going to kill Tony Stark in Infinity War.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so,
not to get off topic. It
No,
just when you
no,
said
it's-
Doctor Strange, that popped into my head.
and again, you make a relevant point, but yes, the one chance is that Strange saw what was going to happen, but
Tony almost had to die.
But he knew because Strange saw what happened. He knew what Tony was thinking, so he just had to kind of reassure him that
this is what you have to do.
This is your one chance. So make it count, right? So
Yeah. I just that one little like thing. I was like, but wait a minute. Like I get why he's doing it, but
Yeah.
sorry. Go back to what you were saying.
So that's where I'd like to see them go. So I guess just before I want to touch on one last thing about Endgame before we wrap it up. Now, which one did you think was a better movie, Infinity War or Endgame?
I enjoyed Infinity War a little bit more. Like, nothing against Endgame. It's not a movie that I'm not gonna, when it comes out, I'm gonna have my copy and I'm not gonna just let it sit there and gather dust. I will be watching that movie probably over and over and over again. But I think I enjoyed Infinity War just a little bit more. It just seemed more. There's just more going on in it that they weren't. It wasn't so much planning. They were just more setting up for the conflicts, and there was always some kind of conflict. There was a little challenge here, a little challenge there. But in Endgame, everybody was, this is what we got to plan. We got, and then 5 years lapse, so nothing happens, even though it doesn't. It just seems like nothing was moving forward until they come to this realization that this is what they can do, right? So again, nothing against Endgame. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I really stress that this is a good movie for everybody to go out and see. But I think I enjoy watching Infinity War. I've watched that countless times before having gone to see this, but obviously because I have the ability. But it's I personally, for me, I enjoyed Infinity War a little bit more. There was just a little bit more going on. That was more entertaining for me.
Yeah. What about you, Marie?
Endgame.
You liked Endgame more than Infinity War?
So much more.
Yeah.
It just because there was no points. There was no points, or very small points, I should say, where I was bored. There was no lulls where I was like, yeah, okay. Whereas there was a couple in Infinity War, I don't quite remember them, but I remember there being a few points where I thought it was a little slow. Whereas this one, I didn't feel it as much. I didn't notice it as much. And I kind of, I don't know, I liked the mix of the comedy and the answers. Like you, in my opinion, you obviously can't have one without the other. So they both have parts that I love. They both have parts that I don't. They're not my favorite. But I think overall I liked Endgame more. Like that one for me, like I didn't want to get up and go to the bathroom. I didn't even want to blink. So like that one for me was like genuinely amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't get that in movies often, where I don't care if I get up and go to the washroom. Whereas this one I was like, I don't want to go to the bathroom.
For me, yeah, I think, let's see, there's a lot of great moments in Endgame. It's a tough call, but yeah, I think maybe as far as stories go, maybe Infinity War edges it out just a little bit. Just because I love the character of Thanos so much, and it was more
His quest.
It was more about his quest, getting all the stones.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed in Infinity War, and him winning, and at the end of Infinity War and beating everyone. I really enjoyed that. But I mean, they're very close. Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
it's very close.
They're
really
both
enjoyed them.
good movies. They're both really good movies. There's no...
Yeah,
for sure.
they are. So I guess that's all. Said everything we can say, I guess. So we'll wrap it up there. So that's everything we got to say in this video. Let us know what you think in the comments section, and we will see you at the next one. Thank you to all of my subscribers, and thank you for watching this video. And if you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to hit the bell icon for notification when new videos are uploaded.